Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Back in another video from Anime News, and today we've got some MUSHOKU Tensei content. Love it. Let's get hyped for the return. Season 2 is going to be sick. This is why Rudy is the way he is. This is like a look back into Rudeus's like original form, one could say. You know, in our world before his isekai, like the way he was living in that, I'd imagine. But yeah, cool. I'm looking forward to this. I hope that when season 2 comes out, the content continues, and I will stay on top of it this time. Last time I kind of didn't. I just did like when abilities and stuff were explained, but I regret that. So yeah, let's do this.
Rudy's past life was never something that I had really thought about. I had always kind of assumed he was just this antisocial outcast who unfortunately got bullied a lot. But after reading the details of the prologue, you'd be surprised to know that he was actually quite normal before. In fact, if not for one small decision during an early point in his life, Rudy could have become quite successful in just about anything. It was a core part of his past I'm surprised didn't make it into the anime. So,
never know.
While I was going to do
You never know.
content starting from episode 1 onward, I actually found this backstory to be a bit more interesting. Which is why before we even get to episode 1, here's how Rudy's life was before reincarnation.
Oh wait, so did he not do the cut content from episode 1? Alright, okay.
A prologue to the return of my favorite cut content series. If you're wondering how Rudy ended up the way he did in his past life, you'd be surprised to know that it all stemmed from one basic decision.
And that was...
A simple whim to build himself a computer had changed this man's life from promising youth to hopeless adult. What I mean is that before this computer, he was actually quite normal. He was born into a well-off family, had 4 other siblings who likely cared for him,
I love that I was using other clips from other stuff, and that's like, oh, that's Hunter x Hunter.
and in elementary school he was even praised as being smart for his age.
ReZero.
That didn't necessarily mean he was academically gifted, but he was skilled at video games and even quite athletic. It was a time when he got along with everyone and everyone got along with him. But when his time at junior high had come around, his passion for computers was only intensified through his participation in the computer club.
Right.
So much so that he would obsess over magazines and eventually save up enough to build his own. This may not have seemed like a problem at first, but with every waking moment now being spent on this computer, it was only natural for Rudy to begin to neglect his studies.
Oh no.
He started to believe they weren't necessary in order to have a future. Now, you'd think his family would have stepped in to intervene, but they were completely ignorant as to what was happening.
Alright, so they had no clue, and then when they tried to intervene, a little bit too late, right?
I mean, even Rudy himself didn't realize the harrowing path he was heading down.
This must be a thing that happens because there's so many anime that show people just leaving bags of like rubbish everywhere and then just like, you know, living in that. That's like...
That being the case, when the time came to get admitted into high school, the only one his grades could get him into was the school widely considered to be the worst in the prefecture. It was the place in which all the delinquents were sent to.
Oh no.
Of course, Rudy, having been praised for a majority of his life, truly believed he would breeze through this no problem. His inherent confidence not only made him feel like he could do anything, but it also made him feel like he was above the rest of the so-called idiots he went to school with. So, when an incident had led him to talk down on those he thought he was above, the delinquents he targeted were the worst of the worst.
Oh no.
Not only were they his upperclassmen, but it just so happened one was actively trying to be the school's #1 menace.
Oh, you're just asking for trouble there, Rudy.
It was his first and last mistake, as this would be the reason he was bullied out of attending school anymore. So, just as we saw in the flashbacks, after beating him senseless and tying him naked to the gates,
So
pictures
extreme.
would then circulate and plummet his social standing straight to the Shadow Realm. His family would attempt the occasional positive reinforcement, but trauma like that simply wasn't easy to recover from.
It's a lot to go through. That is... It's so extreme. I don't know what I'd do.
No, it was far easier to just ignore everything and remain holed up instead. At least there he could kill time with his computer and the internet. Now, over time Rudy would take an interest in several hobbies, but none would ever last for longer than a year. Regardless of whether it was a blog, plastic models, or painting figurines, the moment he saw someone else could do it better, all motivation to continue doing it would just be lost. There was plenty of support and money given to help him find something that would break him out of his shell, but in reality, they were all just a means to pass the time. They were all just hobbies intended to help him avoid facing the real problem. Looking back, the ideal scenario would have been to become a manga artist or light novel author, but those were the very people he would always make fun of. He would actively consume their creations, all while relentlessly criticize them.
So then, because of that, it was like, I'm not going to stoop to the level of what I've set myself in my head that, like, I mock.
Judge their works without having put work into anything himself. So, when thinking back on what could have been, everything past grade school was just regret. Regret that he didn't have more time. Regret that he half-assed everything he'd ever attempted. If he could just go back and really apply himself like how he did when he was building his computer, then for sure he felt he could have become a pro at something. Maybe not the best in the world, but at the very least good enough to have accomplished literally anything. These were the thoughts Rudy was facing just hours after having been disowned and kicked out of the house. As a 34-year-old jobless man who just missed his parents' funeral, his brothers and sister had come to evict him.
Oh my god.
First by delivering their letter formally disowning him, then by smashing his computer which he valued more than himself.
Oh, so it was his family. It's his brother and sister that did it. Oh my god, alright.
It was when he tried to fight back that his older brother, who was a black belt in karate, made sure to give him a full-on beating before finally removing him.
Oh, this explains so much more, like, than what you think, because you see this and it's like, oh, okay, maybe. I thought maybe he was in debt or something, but, wow.
Leaving him on the streets to wonder what he even did wrong.
His brother and
Now,
sister
those
did that to him. Oh my god, that's
few hours prior to the truck weren't just spent wallowing in self-regret, but were actually spent trying to come up with a plan for himself. If the ultimate goals were to get a job, find a place to live, and buy some food, then the first thing he needed to do was go to an employment agency. The only problem with that was that he didn't even know where any of them were. That and the fact that the agency only handled introductions. So, even if he was to get a job interview right now, not only did he not have a resume to show any experience, but he also didn't have the proper attire suitable for one. The impression he would make right now would just be miserable.
Yeah, that would
Perhaps
be bad. Could you imagine just turning up like that, just like no shoes or socks, just jacket and that, and then, oh, I don't know.
He could clean himself up with money from a loan company, but without a place to live, a resume wouldn't even be valid for him. So it was at this point that Rudy finally realized his life was ruined. He had wasted it all and accomplished nothing. Right as he had come to this realization, though, a faint argument could be heard in the distance. It was the three high schoolers who were very clearly in the middle of a lover's quarrel. Something you'd be surprised to know was that this very sight brought back memories of situations very similar for him. Of course, memories not from middle school or high school, but instead junior high, which were when things were normal for him. It was a time in which Rudy did in fact have a chance with a girl. Since the two lived pretty close to each other, they were often in the same class and even walked home together. He didn't think that she had a crush on him, but if he studied hard and got into the same high school, then there was actually a good chance that the two of them could have ended up dating. In any case, the two would occasionally get into fights just like how the kids across the street from him were now. Or they would supposedly hook up if things went well. Either way, it was yet another reminder of what could have been had he not wasted his life away. Now, it was while these three students were arguing that Rudy would notice the truck barreling straight towards them. The pain in his ribs made it hard to yell, so the only other option was to run and help them. As much as he knew that helping was the right thing to do, though, the main problem was not knowing how. Even so, what bothered him more was knowing that in 5 minutes he'd regret not doing anything again. So, rather than keep living the same way that he's always lived, Rudy decided that he would try to do something. Anything was better than constantly living in this state of regret. It would likely end up in him being dead, but if his last moments could be spent doing something, then that was a small piece of solace that he was willing to die with. So, as his broken ribs resisted his every action, Rudy would push through the pain and begin to run. Actually,
And that's a lot of pain. If you've ever had a rib injury, just doing anything is painful. So him to do this, Jesus.
managing to get there in time to save one of the guys. But right as he had pulled that person to safety, Rudy had come to realize that he couldn't stop. What initially started as a plan to simply pull this person back quickly changed into an exchange of placement when he found stopping his 100-kilogram body wasn't so easy anymore. So, despite actively avoiding the path of the truck, Rudy's forward momentum would still cause him to stumble into it. He did intend to save the other 2 students as well, but by the time he'd saved the first, the truck was already there and making contact with him.
Oh.
An interesting thing to note about the impact is that it wasn't the initial hit that had killed him. His excess fat had actually saved him from getting flattened. But after being bounced off the hood into a nearby wall, the truck would continue forward and pin him against the concrete, crushing his entire body and killing him on sight. So, unlike how they showed in episode 1, there was no scene on the operating table.
Oh. Just instant death.
Just the accident, then his new life. But yeah, that's pretty much Rudy's life as shown in the prologue. An interesting view that shows quite a bit of normalcy. It's not like he wanted to become this degenerate of a human being, but poor decisions and just plain bad luck had given him cards that he just couldn't play with. I don't know if that changes your perspective on him as a character, but all that is just a small portion of the true depth the novel goes into with events like this.
Interesting.
So, if you want to know more fascinating cut content like this, then be sure to subscribe because I'll be doing more for Season 1 and then Season 2 when it comes out.
Nice.
Now, before I go, I just want to shout out to the Armory desk mat again. A high-quality, ultra-wide mousepad that takes inspiration from a lot of my favorite anime. It's honestly the best mousepad I've ever owned, and I've used quite a few of them.
Oof.
So, if you want to get this desk mat, then you can actually get it for 25% off right now using the code below. Just click the link in the description or the pop-up beneath the video and enter the code at checkout. It's another massive way of supporting the channel. But anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime content, then you already know what to do. So, until next time.
Ciao. Very interesting. Cool. I'm going to double check. But okay. He's doing content. I thought he already did. He did cut content already, didn't he? So maybe he just started part way. Anyway, that'd be cool then if that's the case. I will check them out. Then up to a point, and then maybe carry on with the ones that he did. And then Season 2, baby. Yeah! Anyway, make sure you check out my Etsy shop. Links in the description for t-shirts and I've designed. You can purchase. It helps support the channel greatly. Thank you. And thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video upload, link in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is the last support channel. That's greatly appreciated. Thank you for that. And thank you all for watching. What you guys think of that? What you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what you should watch because of future videos. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.